Well, as we've been talking about quite a bit on today's show, the State of the Union address was delivered last night by Joe Biden. Did a really good job, really important stuff touched on. He made Fox News very upset because apparently now Sleepy Joe is too energetic and too passionate. He was yelling too much, they're saying. A strange 180 from them in terms of criticisms. But something else caught a lot of people's eyes, ears, and attention. And that was Republican Senator from Alabama, Katie Britt's response to Joe Biden's State of the Union address. Of course, each year after the president delivers the State of the Union, either party selects someone to give their response to it. It's sort of a strange tradition because they're reading a speech, and so they have to write the speech if they're going to do it right after Biden's speech or the president's speech. They have to write it before they even watch Biden's speech. So it's just sort of a general response to him as a person, not really what he delivered, even though it's framed that way. And this one, I don't know how to explain it other than it was so weird. I try my best to keep things focused on substance and meaningful points, not just weird vibes from people. But she was given way too many weird vibes for me to ignore. And so this segment, it's not about a detailed policy analysis, okay? This is about seeing if we can get through some of these clips without laughing, because it was one of the stranger speeches I've ever seen in my entire life. So here we go. Again, supposed rising Republican star, Senator Katie Britt from Alabama, speaking like this for some reason.
We hear you, and we stand with you.
And that's why we're blocking all the policies to help you. It's for you. We're hurting you for you, okay? We're obstructing the very border bill we've been asking for years, for you, okay?
I know. You're frustrated.
At me for speaking like this. Okay, so why? A friend of the show now who I got to meet during my meeting at the White House, Aaron Rupar, great guy, said, okay, but why is she whispering like this? I don't know. I don't get it. Then you have this moment.
Mr. President, enough is enough.
Enough what? Enough job growth, stronger, even after we recovered all the pre-pandemic jobs than we saw under Donald Trump. Enough wage growth, stronger than we saw under Donald Trump pre-pandemic. Enough investments in roads, bridges, broadband, clean, reliable drinking water, transit, airports, etc. Large investment. And we don't want any more of these historic investments in infrastructure, the largest since the Eisenhower Highway Program. We don't want the largest investment in green energy in history, making cheaper forms of energy for consumers than we currently use, and making sure we have a livable planet for our children. Enough jobs, 15 million almost jobs since Biden came into office. What? Enough what? Enough healthcare for veterans. Enough drops in prescription drug costs for seniors because of the Biden administration. I don't know. Or enough policy solutions to issues like the southern border, what she spent a lot of time focusing on. And get this, I'll show you Rachel Maddow making this point a little bit later, but she, Katie Britt, helped to craft the very border bill supported by conservative Senator James Lankford too, and the Border Patrol Union, that MAGA Republicans, including Katie Britt, shot down. Isn't that crazy? She crafted it because she thought it was politically advantageous to do so. Biden supports it. Then Trump says, kill it to hurt Biden politically. She votes against it. So don't talk about the border unless you actually want to do something about issues when it comes to the southern border. Here's more.
I never could have imagined what my story would entail. To think about what the American dream can do across just one generation, in just one lifetime. It's truly breathtaking. But right now, the American dream has...
It looked like during that part, oh my goodness. Let me watch it again.
It's truly breathtaking. But right now...
It looked like in her speech, it said, mood change. It's truly breathtaking. But right now, it's falling apart. The American dream is dying because of Joe Biden. And we're not going to stand for that. No, we're not. And that's why we're obstructing every solution to every problem. Because if we solve problems, then we won't be able to blame Biden for them. So nobody knows why she was talking like that is the takeaway. Here's Rachel Maddow making a great point about Katie Britt.
Britt ran as a strongly anti-abortion rights candidate. So that does sort of implicitly spotlight that issue. Obviously, the most, I would say, the portion of her response that took up the most word count, at least, was her talk on the border. And just to contextualize that, she was one of the U.S. senators who was involved in the bipartisan negotiations to create a border bill. And she helped create the bill and then voted against it when Donald Trump called on Republicans to pull the plug on the bill that they themselves had negotiated.
She is the living embodiment of the willingness to throw serious governance and problem solving in the trash by MAGA Republicans. She helped to craft, again, as I've said now and Rachel Maddow pointed out, the very border bill she did, her, the person you just watched, that now Republicans are celebrating preventing the passage of. What are you doing, Katie? That's ridiculous. You and another conservative senator, James Langford, who a camera pointed to during the speech while Biden was talking, and he was saying, that's true about the border. Well, Biden's right about this. And then the Border Patrol Union would later endorse legislation that would do all the things Republicans have been asking for. Or most of them. Maybe some of the vicious things some of them have called for is not in there. But a lot of the actual solutions to some problems we're facing, humanitarian and logistical. And then they killed it because Trump asked them to, including one of the people who helped to grab it, Katie Britt. It's crazy. And this is why Democrats need to get out there and pound on this issue. Because no longer is this a Republican political winner, or it shouldn't be. Democrats, yes, they're right on policy when it comes to the border, way more correct than Republicans are, but they're also, they also should be benefiting politically because overwhelmingly, they're the side willing to actually do something on it. The obstruction's coming from Katie Britt's side, even though she went after Biden over and over again in this response over the border. You don't get to act like that's your top issue if you refuse to do anything about it, and you fight against doing anything about it. Just because, as some of them explicitly admitted, it would hurt or it would help Biden politically to work with him. It's pretty disgusting. But I will say all the responses I've seen from the right to Biden's speech confirms the fact that it was a really good speech because they are a mess. Make sure you're subscribed to this YouTube channel. And if you want to become a member to get a daily bonus show and hear about my trip to DC, the White House, you can go to lukebeasleyshow.com/membership.